Cats deck. And I am a tarot reader. If you didn't know that about me. So I thought I would shuffle some cards at a strange angle, because why not? Your ears are right here today. Right there. I'm not sure which is which. This appears to be your right ear. And over here must be your left ear. I haven't decided if I want to do a reading or not. I'm not much of a planner, which is alright. I think we should do a reading just because, you know what? I want to talk about tarot. So this is how I shuffle. So this is the card, this is the deck I'm using, the Tarot of Pagan Cats. It's a pretty purple deck, so I thought it'd be nice to use this one with the lighting that I'm using right now. I use this deck a lot in my reading practice anyway. It's one of my favorite parts. I love to just look at the cards as they come together like that. So when I shuffle, split the deck into two like this and do this. I don't do the bridge thing. I've tried. You know what I'm talking about? When you make it into an arc and then you do the shuffling. My mom can do that, and it looks easy, but oh boy, I gotta practice it. So let's just do a general reading. How about, we'll do a spread. So 1, 2, 3. The energy we need to bring in is 1. The energy we need to let go of is 2. And then any lessons we need to learn will be number 3. So 1 will be any energy we need to bring into our lives. Card 2. Oh. Is that a good sound? I can't tell if it's a good sound or if it sounds weird. Okay. Card 1, the energy we need to bring into our lives. Card 2, the energy we need to get rid of or, push away. And 3 will be the energy, not the energy. 3 will be the lessons we still need to learn. I'm sorry if you guys can hear a beeping sound. There appears to be a truck backing up or some sort of thing in my neighborhood right now. So let's shuffle with those things in mind. And I'm just going to do a general reading for all of us, since there are not that many of you. Eventually I'd like to do a pick a card. Let me know in the comments if you want to have a pick a card, so that would be just, you know, boom, 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 and then you can pick a deck, 1, 2, or 3, and then I'll say this, this, and this. You know what, let's use these. Let's use these. Because they, you know, they seem to be accurate right now. Alright, the energy we need to bring into our lives. This is the Star. This is about refreshing yourself. This is about renewal. You see that? This is one of my absolute favorite cards in this deck. It's a relaxing card too, so if you've been feeling extra stressed out lately, or, you know, you've been protesting a lot, and your body is just sore, it's time to take a break physically. If you have been doing a lot of activism and anti-racist work among your friend groups and your families, right now you can take it just a step back and recharge a little bit. But this is also a card to remind you to set boundaries for yourself. I mean, there are things that you're going to need to do right now, but you shouldn't overexert yourself, because if you overexert yourself, I'm sure you know this just as well as anybody, if you overexert yourself, you're just gonna end up taking a really long time to recover. So it's good to just get these little pockets of recovery, especially right now with all of the talks going on about racism and anti-racism. It can be a lot for people who aren't used to this. So it's just important. I mean, you still have to go back and do the work, but this is the energy, let's talk about now, that we need to release. And this is an interesting card for that, because this is something that's talking about beginnings. This is your emotional overflowing, not necessarily overflowing, that's not really the word I want. It's more of a beginning, like well, you see the card, look. It is overflowing, but it's a depiction of abundance. So in relationship to this card, there could be too much emotion you're giving up right now, and what you should be doing is releasing, setting those boundaries for yourself. So if there's just somebody who's asking you way too many questions, it's okay to say, look, I've given you all I can. It's time for you to do research on your own, okay? So in the context of the work that everybody's doing right now, it's important to set up those boundaries, and you might be finding your boundaries right now and crossing them. And while it's good to test the boundaries, it's not amazing to overindulge. And that ties in perfectly with this card. This is the King of Chalices. So we've got the Star, or the stars in this deck. It's a major arcana. We got the Ace of Chalices, which is the beginning of the chalice journey, the cup journey, the heart journey, the water journey. And then we've got the King, which is the end of the journey. And this section, the third card, if you remember, is what we can learn from all of this. And what we can learn from all of this, from this emotional journey, this setting up boundaries, this rejuvenating your own energy, this emotional self-care, is exactly what we're talking about in the last two cards. This is, You know, the ship back here is like stuff that you've already accomplished, the work you've already put in. That ship has sailed, you know? The ship has sailed. It's time to be your own cat. It's time to be your own person. You know, you've got to be, sometimes people really, we don't need to give people the time of day. I mean, it's important to a certain extent, but when there are people who have just sucked out all of our energy, it's a perfect time to say, hey, look, no, you can't have my energy anymore. I'm setting up this boundary. It's time for you to learn from your own mistakes. So in terms of what this means for us, what we're going to learn from all of this is our own boundaries, and this can be about communication. So sometimes I'll have a difficult time saying, look, no, I don't want to do this anymore for you. I don't want to talk to you anymore. And specifically in context with what's going on right now with the police brutality and anti-racism, it's important for individuals to do the work themselves. And this is doing the work yourself, so we need to do the work ourselves. We also need to make sure other people are doing the work themselves and not draining our energy. So for the short reading, it's all about boundaries. It's funny, I wasn't even going to use these cards. You know, normally when I shuffle the deck, I shuffle it like this. I'll do this like I mentioned before. And then I'll do that a couple of times, and then what I'll do is I'll wait for a card to pop out. So let's look at our card of the day. So we did a general energy reading together, and now let's talk about our collective card of the day. And I know it's the evening, but whenever you're watching this will be the card of your day. So right now this is, okay, sometimes it just drops. This is a card with a lot of different meanings. So for some of us it's going to be, this is the Seven of Cups. It's reversed. So for some of us, this means that we are stuck in our own imagination. So if you find yourself having conversations with your friends, but it's all in your mind, it's not the best way to go about it, you know, just relax. But for some of us, we have a lot of options in front of us. So if you want to look at this like this, there's so many options to choose from. And there are many paths that are good and some that are less good. But this is sort of a card of unknowing, which isn't particularly helpful sometimes. To say, look, yeah, I've got a lot of options. I've got a lot of things in my mind. So sometimes I can feel a little bit like this card isn't the most helpful. But if you're watching this right now, just know that take a step back. Just take a step back and think about what you don't want. You know, because a lot of times we get caught up thinking about what we do want. I know this is true for myself, that whenever I'm trying to achieve something, I think, well, is this really what I want to do? Is this, do I want to achieve this? Do I want this house? Do I want this car? Do I want blah, 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 whatever? And then I think, why do I even want those things to begin with? Are those things aligned with my core values? Will they actually improve my life, or will they just make me look cool to other people? So when you're evaluating the choices that you have, the options, the things that you are daydreaming about. Pay attention to why you're dreaming about these things. Because sometimes we get caught up in wanting things and they're not necessarily going to be good for us. Or they're not going to help us in a way that we need. So that's our card of the day. That makes sense for me. Let me know if that makes sense for you. Oh my gosh. I keep having this closer to here because this is where the microphone is, right here. Do my hands look like... I'm not even gonna bother with negative self-talk today. Heck no. And nor should you, by the way. Alright, we're gonna keep this short. I want to shuffle a little bit more. Not to do any drawing, not to do any readings, but just to have some nice ASMR sounds because I love the sound of cards. If you want more tarot readings, by the way, from this channel, you can just leave a comment below. Otherwise, I'm gonna do more of these anyway, but it would be nice to hear your thoughts on tarot cards. If you have tarot cards yourself, you have a favorite deck. Otherwise, on Instagram, I am 3dogtarot. I'll put my Instagram in the description. I'm getting caught up in the shadow. This is my microphone. Not my microphone. You know what it is. The earphone. Headphone. Headphone cord. Look at the shadow of this. Look at that. If you're trying to sleep, you don't have to look at it, but it's fun. Sometimes this lighting can be crazy. Is that a terrible sound? I don't know. Good night. Thank you for watching.